The discount is real. The discount is real. ED per arrear of grocery receipts once, out of curiosity rather than principle, and the card had returned somewhere between 1 and 2% of the total on a household food bill that is a couple of $100s. Telling someone to hand that back over principle is expensive advice, and the people who hand out that advice are usually not the ones doing the shopping. So I am not here to talk you out of the card. I want to describe the other side of the trade, because it arrives dressed as a discount and it works like a policy. I run mobile data lines for a living, SIM cards sitting in modems, rented out by the month, and plenty of the businesses renting them are collecting commercial data with them. That is the disclosure. I am somewhere in the plumbing of this, not watching it from the pavement. It also means I know what data costs to move and roughly what it fetches. That is the only reason I have an opinion about a supermarket card. The discount deserves a fair hearing first. People who tell you to refuse every scheme tend to price the reward at nothing, and on a weekly shop that is simply wrong. Fuel schemes are the clearest case. A few cents off a liter, every fill, on a car doing normal annual mileage is real money. Pharmacy and electronic schemes often carry a member-only clearance tier that is a real price rather than a rounding of the shelf label. Some run a points balance that lands on one large purchase a year, which is the part people forget to count because it never shows up weekly. I have a low opinion of privacy advice that costs the reader money and returns nothing measurable. If the recommendation is refuse everything, the person giving it has not done the arithmetic and is not paying for the groceries. So take the money, just know what the money is for. What the card changes, without the card, the shop knows what was bought. A basket, a time, a till number, a payment method, that is inventory data and staffing data, and it says nothing about any person. With the card, the shop knows what you bought. Same basket, now carrying a name. That sounds like a small edit. It is the entire mechanism because your next visit attaches to the same name, and the one after that, and every one for as long as you keep the card. After a year, what the shop holds is a series, and the series behaves nothing like the sum of the things inside it. One shopping trip of yours is close to worthless. You bought eggs. Nobody is learning anything from that. 240 trips over 3 years, time-stamped and itemized, is a completely different object. It has a rhythm in it, and the rhythm is where all the inference lives. The sequence is the product. So here is what a purchase history gives up that nobody intends to hand over. Household size comes out of volume. A person buying 2 liters of milk a week and a person buying 8 are describing how many people they feed. Neither of them typed a number anywhere. Household composition comes out of categories. Nappies and formula say there is a baby in the house. Certain cereals and lunchbox items say primary school. The pet food aisle says a dog, and the bag size says roughly how large a dog. A dietary change shows because it arrives as a switch. The same bread every week for 2 years stops, and gluten-free bread starts the following week. Nothing was declared, the pattern declared it. A medical change works the same way. Some aisles have a signature, and a purchase that starts in 1 week and repeats every month after that is a regimen. A regimen implies a diagnosis. Pregnancy is the famous one, and the mechanism is duller than the stories about it. A cluster of unscented products, a supplement, a change in what gets bought late in the evening. No individual item carries any meaning. The combination arriving inside a short window does. A separation shows up as arithmetic, basket size halves, while the visit frequency holds, the alcohol either climbs or stops entirely, and the second delivery address appears on the account. Income direction shows in substitution. Moving from the mid-range to the own brand version of the same 12 products, inside the same month, describes a household under pressure. Moving the other way is a pay rise. Nobody needs to know your salary to read that. They only need the direction. Travel shows in the gaps. A fortnight with no shopping at all, with sunscreen and a travel adapter sitting on the basket just before it. And the record has your holiday and roughly where it was worn. And this is the part that makes purchase history expensive. Surveys get answered aspirationally because there is somebody on the other end to impress. A trolley gets filled honestly. Nobody performs for a trolley. The joints people miss, 3 of them, and each one is wider than the shop you are standing in. The first is that the card is the same card online, scan it at the till, use the same account for delivery, and your in-store buying and your online buying stop being 2 things. Most people hold them apart in their head. The retailer never did. The second is the payment card, where the scheme keeps a token for the card you pay with. The record joins on that as well, and it will pick up baskets where you never scanned the loyalty card at all, which answers a question I get asked a lot. Does it help to leave the card at home sometimes? A little, less than you would like. The third one surprises people. A large share of loyalty schemes belong to a specialist company that runs the same scheme for a fuel chain, a pharmacy, an electronics retailer, and a couple of restaurant groups. So the record covers your medicines and your fuel alongside your shopping in one company's database, joined on a single membership number. That is a materially different arrangement from the one people think they joined. It is also disclosed in a paragraph of the terms nobody has read voluntarily, the part where it gets used against you. Now the edge, I think, is underrated, and it has nothing to do with anybody selling anything. A discount does not have to be the same for everyone. Once the shop holds your history, it can estimate the smallest incentive that will change your behavior and offer exactly that much. If you buy a particular coffee every week without fail, you will not be sent a coupon for that coffee. You already buy it. The coupon would be a gift. If you buy a competitor's coffee, or you buy it in a way that looks like a habit still forming, the coupon arrives. The offer chases the wobble. That is rational, and I would run it the same way in my own shop. The consequence is what matters. The person holding the card gets the price calculated to move them, and that is a different number from the best price in the building. Then there is the shelf label with two prices on it. Member and non-member side by side, presented as a discount for joining. It does the work of a surcharge for not joining, and the second reading is closer to what happens at the till. The honest test is to compare the member price against a different shop's shelf price. Comparing it against the non-member price on the same label tells you nothing at all, because both of those numbers were set by the same person on the same afternoon. Where it goes after the shop. Short section. Because the broker market is a whole subject and I have gone through it properly elsewhere. Some retailers sell purchase data onward and some do not. The ones that do usually route it through a middleman who cleans it up and matches it against other sources. Aggregated counts are harmless. The versions that keep a transaction level trail with a stable identifier attached are not, because a handful of purchases with times and amounts on them will single you out of a large population. Item level purchase history under a real name is one of the highest value inputs in that market, for the same reason it is valuable inside the shop. It is behavior rather than a claim. The part I got wrong. For years I treated this as an export problem. The danger was the data leaving the retailer, reaching a broker, and ending up somewhere it could be used against me. So I declined the cards, paid the higher price, and felt fairly pleased about it. The export is real. But I had the weight in the wrong place, because the larger effect happens with nothing leaving the building, the pricing, the offers, which products get shown to you and in what order. All of that runs inside the retailer's own systems on the retailer's own data, and no third party is involved at any stage. I was defending against the transfer and ignoring the use. The refusal also did less than I assumed. I had been paying with the same card for years and delivering to the same address the whole time, so the identity was sitting there regardless. I had turned down the discount and kept the record. What cancelling does, cancelling the card stops new rows going in. It does not delete the rows already there, and in most places the retailer has a retention period it can point at. A deletion request is a separate action, and the two get confused constantly. If you want the history gone, you have to ask for that specifically, and the request goes to whoever operates the scheme, which may not be the shop. We actually do now. Use the card, take the money, then narrow what it can see. Sign up with an email address you use only for commerce, and a phone number your friends do not have. Those two fields are what let this record be matched against every other record about you, in incantabore of the card. If there is a class of purchase you would rather not have inferred, buy it somewhere else, or buy it without scanning, or pay cash for that trip. The record is only as revealing as what you allow into it, and you decide that basket by basket. Decline the payment card link where declining is offered. It gets sold as convenience, points collected with nothing to carry, and it is the strongest join in the whole arrangement. It is also the easiest one to say no to. Go into the account settings and find the marketing and personalization toggles. They sit separately from cancelling the card. They are buried, and switching them off very often leaves the discount intact. Best ratio on offer anywhere in this subject. One card for the household rather than one each. The inference then describes a household, which is both less precise and closer to true, and check whose scheme it is. If there are other companies' logos on the back of the card, your record is wider than the shop you are standing in. The reason this one is different, nearly every other privacy topic I cover is one way. The browser extension reads your pages and gives you nothing. The car reports every journey and hands back a better insurance quote if you are lucky. The data broker never asked you at all. The loyalty card pays you, openly in money, at the rate you can measure by adding up a year of receipts. That makes it the one case where yes is a perfectly defensible answer, and it is also exactly why it slips past people. An arrangement you are being paid for does not feel like an arrangement. It feels like a discount, so it gets filed under saving money instead of under things I agreed to. That filing error is the whole subject. More privacy tools tested honestly at theprivacywire.com. Subscribe for privacy advice that is actually practical.